In today's video you will meet some mysterious and strange creatures that you can find browsing on the internet. Without context can generate fear and curiosity for those beings that appear in those images. From disturbing deformities to strange TV programs. That's why I took on a task of searching for more information about that images, resulting in this video in which you'll know what's behind those mysterious and disturbing images from the internet. So let's get started. In this image we can see an humanoid entity, and it has generally a quite terrifying appearance. We can see him among some piñatas and other objects. Its background story is also interesting, and probably mostly of people that gonna see this video don't know about this, and many may not remember it. But during 2020, a case began to become popular where severe paranormal events will be recorded occurring in a store located in Mexico. This place is known as the Mario Store or Tienda de Mario, and after a lot of paranormal activity, its owner, which obviously is Mario, will decide to put security cameras. In one of these events, a strange creature will appear, and to be honest, that creature looks quite terrifying in my opinion. Sometime later, several hypotheses come to light about this supposed paranormal case, where the conclusion was that in reality that terrifying creature that we can see will be nothing more than nothing less than a mask, specifically a Momo mask, but with some more details. To resemble a terrifying creature, this will have the purpose of bringing more customers to the store, the Mario Store. Honestly, the first time I saw that thing, I scared the hell out of me, mainly because I didn't know the context. Imagine that you find yourself waiting to watch an episode of your favorite series, which is SpongeBob SquarePants. So you decide to search for among several web pages. Now you find yourself watching the episode known as a gourmet, when in a scene right in the part where the butterfly lands on Patrick's helmet and a creepy close-up of the butterfly is supposed to happen, the following image appears instead of that close-up. That image comes from that clip, and the story tells that there exists a cursed episode that you can find on one of those pages for watching cartoons online. It is assumed that someone edited that part. Although this is just a creepypasta, there are probably some chapters edited on those pirate pages, so that's why it's better to be careful when you're browsing on the internet, especially when you wanna see your childhood series, or you could come across something like that. This being is known as the Happy Hunger. It is an entity made of nerves, which has a certain resemblance to a Teletubby. This image will really represent a kind of mental problem, which make people become aggressive with another person. Although what is really disturbing is the video where this entity comes from. So now you're gonna see it. This thing is known as the Doctor. We got information about him thanks to a person who was his victim, because when he was kidnapped he will be taken to an unknown place, and in that place he says that he went through various tortures and also witnessed how the Doctor was mutilating another person using strange and twisted looking appearance. This person describes that this being was not human but has a very sharp instrument in his hands that he used to kill and torture human beings in a very painful beautiful ways. While the person was telling what he witnessed, he did nothing but cry because he realized how vulnerable and sensitive a human being is when he can no longer even defend himself, much less against a predator who is much stronger in every sense. In that sight of human carnage, the man meet another man who had also been kidnapped. He will become a kind of friend. This, while the two witness horrible acts by this abominable being. At the end, he managed to escape with the help of his friend. With that time, he will be the last time he will see him. He says that as he walked away, in the distance he saw how his friend was being captured by this creature. The creature was described as a humanoid being, with a happy face drawn on his mask. This mask covered his true appearance, which was never seen. He was dressed in a suit made of multiple layers of human skin. The following image is a cover of supposedly cursed Sonic cartridge. On one side, we can see a text that repeatedly encourages people to buy the game in a quite insistent way. In reality, this cover will be part of a Sonic creepypasta. In this, it is said that the game will serve as a pack with a demon. When underneath the game, you will find this screen, in which you can see another Sonic who is completely bloody and has a disturbing face. Also on the screen there's a text that says, "With us you will not be alone again," which will make everything more creepy. It is said that in reality it's a supposed real Sonic cartridge, and in the game you will have the opportunity to be a completely disfigured Sonic, which is responsible for disfiguring all his friends, tearing part of their flesh and his bones, so that they have a appearance similar to him, having a certain similarity to the Sonic creepypasta Sonic.X. Apparently, the creepypasta is partially found since it is considered lost. In the end of the game, during the night, Sonic presence will manifest in your house, but with dark intentions, because he will begin to tear off pieces of your flesh and cause to disfigurements and deformations that will end you having a fatal result. Although after all, your soul will join the game, which will be sold to another person, and thus the cycle will repeat. In this image we can see what looks like a baby, but is completely disfigured. I think it has a certain physical resemblance to a fish. This image has a curious background story. While I was researching for more information about this image, I found that some years ago there was an Instagram profile. I think that this was his profile because in it we can see what looks like a kind of deformed cat that has some characteristics similar to the image of the baby. This account is completely empty and generates an aura of mystery. In a post, we can find this image from 3 years ago. There's probably enough of lost media or someone who once called himself Neurokog. The entity that we can see in this image is quite rare to find. The reason is because it generates a feeling of mystery. Despite its appearance might seem, it's actually a nice creature which helps humans who are being stalked by another creatures or curses. And this being actually represents an angel who helps those people who are going through a bad time in their lives, serving as a faithful friend. A friend whom you can trust, and it will keep you company and will also help you to stop feeling melancholy, loneliness and sad thoughts. The cross will symbolize the hope that the people who feel sad have, and its broken wings will represent an angel who fell from heaven. It is said that this entity is very rare to find. Despite this, its work that it needs to fulfill make it one of the beings with the purest and most noble hearts that exist. Since, unlike others who ask for something in return to improve your life, he will do it unconditionally. Sadly, once you have recovered, you will never see him again, disappearing forever, but leaving you a feeling of peace, although you will never forget him. This image is a little strange, but when you know its context and you find out that this is a memory of a person's childhood, this image could be somewhat interesting, mainly due to the appearance of the place where this photo was taken. I mean, these image elements that look somewhat outside of place. For example, the presence of the realistic blue sky that covers all the walls, and there's a door that leads us to some unknown place. The playground area seems to be designed for someone no more than 10 years old, but the strangest thing here is that individual who represents how a childhood memory has been corrupt. That entity seems to be an evil being. It's supposed to be an entity capable of appearing in a children's dreams, but above all, to ruin everyone's good memories that they had in their childhoods. Being this way, every time you remember something good, you will remember it as something horrible. In the following image, we can see a strange looking entity, which is apparently watching us from a wall located in some stairs. The explanation about this image is that it was taken from a supposed real footage of the dream car of the back rooms. Although in this case the encounter will be with an entity with no registration. The being seems to have dangerous appearance and does not seem to be friendly. The context of the image tells us about a person that was feeling the constant sensation of being watched from some corridors and rooms. Although when he turned around, he did not find nothing. The only thing he could record was that, but he noticed it later, which worried him a lot when he knew that he was being stalked by a probably evil entity during his journey through one of the dream car levels. Or you feel the sensation that someone or something suddenly climbs under your bed and you realize why you feel like something heavy has just climbed up. This usually happens more commonly than you think. Perhaps it hasn't happened to you yet, but in this image we can see a being that seems to have no skin. It has its flesh exposed, leaving some red muscles visible. This is said that the origin of this photo was after someone felt the sensation that someone had climbed onto his bed, but when he realized that it was nothing, he left his room to go for a glass of water, but before returning, he got a feeling of just to decide to start to record a video, so this way he could recording anything that could happen to him. It was at that moment when he opened the door, he will find this entity known as the Meatman, a being without limbs and without anything that seemed to be his upper part of his face, giving him a more strange and disturbing appearance. The Meatman proceeds to disappear, but that person was never able to sleep in this room again, and even less to call me. It is still unknown what the Meatman's purpose will be. This being is known as the Nightmare. This is due its context, which says that this is what a person sees just when they wake up from a nightmare. This being is observing them through the door of their room, and its appearance is truly grotesque. It is said that this entity simply leaves you once you wake up. That is why it's believed that it feeds on people's nightmare. It is the cause of many human nightmares, and when the persons open their eyes, this entity disappears. But it is said that sometimes you can see it watching you from your door, so that could be even worse than the nightmare that you are dreaming. This image was found on a video camera of a person named Dylan. That is the only information that we know about this image. In this image we can see the face of what seems to be some kind of evil looking entity. It also looks like a kind of corpse or putrefaction or even a demonic entity. This seems to be some kind of found footage, or it's supposed to be one. Although its meaning is completely unknown, Dylan's camera could be nothing more than another creepypasta about a footage in the sky. The name of this entity is Peace. It is an entity that lives in the worlds of Dream Car. It causes a strange effect on people. There are persons that think that it has a sad and lonely appearance, and others will think that it is happy and it's simply passing the time. Well, he is actually the representation of calm after a traumatic or devastating event, where there's nothing more to do but accept that something bad happened, and the best thing that you can do is to take a reflection of it. This being represents a dream car feeling, one that is difficult to explain, but that represents part that exists in those places, a part that hides very well, but is always there. This image was made by Trevor Henderson, and in it we can see one of the most massive giants supposed to be recorded. What we can see in this image is only a part of how giant this being was. We don't have much information about this, but we know only that the image was taken from a moving car, in which the passengers were accepting their fate by driving in the direction of the creature. Hallucinations could be caused by several factors. One of them could be extreme fatigue. It is said that in some hallucinations you could see demonic entities with monstrous appearance. A person was aware of this, so after a long trip on the road, he stopped to rest for an hour. When next to him, he saw that there was a smiling creature. This seemed to be staring at him with a strange smile. This person did not take him serious because he thought that was only result of no sleep, but before going to sleep, for some reason he decided to take a photo. So then when he looked at the photo, he found that there really was something there. Anyway, he continued to think that it was an hallucination, so he decided to sleep again. Later, when he woke up at night, he realized that it was a real creature, and that is supposed to be the origin of that image. The creature that we can see in this image is known as Goliath. This being is a gigantic bipedal entity which has multiple luminous holes throughout its body. This image appeared on the internet for the first time on July 8th of 2021, and it says that every of its luminous holes fulfill a function which will work as a kind of mode of the creature. This is because the monster introduced the people that it captures there because it required to eat some organic matter of living beings. That's why this creature is considered as a cruel creature. This creature is now simply as a stare. His face looks like a human, but he is making a rather grotesque expression and it gives the appearance of a human face with no skin. Even so, it was simply made for the purpose of being a cover of a musical album. So well, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If there's someone, please comment, and well, see you on a new video.